What does thriving mean to you?
I'm really focused on exploring how to live the width and depth of my life, not just the length, finding the purpose. So right now, thriving to me is making time for things that help me explore that.
Thriving this year has really meant learning how to love myself and what that means. And it means really doing the things that mean taking care of myself without feeling guilty. Because as a mom and working and trying to be a wife and a friend and doing all of the things, a daughter, I would take time to do something, but then I always had this huge sense of guilt, like I should be doing something else. And so this year I've really learned that thriving means taking care of myself and feeling good, and that I deserve to be taken care of because I really can't show up for anybody else before I show up for myself.
Succeeding is too simple. If you're thriving, you are operating on all four cylinders. Like if you are thriving, you are moving, you are growing, you are evolving, you are the best you that you can be in all the different areas. We're such a multi-dimensional people now, especially women, I think, are doing so many things. So when I think of thriving, I think about you're really operating at peak performance.
What is one thing that has surprised you on this journey?
That I didn't do it sooner. Because now it seems so obvious what was kind of missing in my pursuit of all these things.
You're like,
well, I think part of it is just like, I feel like one week I'm like, yes, like I get this. And then like a month later, I'm like, oh, I get this even more. Like how many layers it is. And when I'm like, no, I think I've finally gotten it. And then it's like, oh no, I did, but now I've got it even more.
I'm an introvert, and I've said to you, I think at one point, I am not a group person. At the end of February, right before the pandemic, we had an in-person retreat that was focused on clutter. And I loved the whole agenda for that retreat, but I was really nervous about going and being in this group. I had some great breakthroughs at that retreat. One of the biggest ones was that the physical clutter wasn't my biggest barrier. It was the mental clutter, the stories that I'm telling myself, like there's not enough time and I'm not enough. And I think it was being in that group dynamic that really helped me to have some of those breakthroughs. It was a different dynamic for me outside of my comfort zone, but a good one. And that was part of what gave me the courage to join Thrive Circle, because again, fake stories in my head. Oh, I'm not a group person, but I loved being in a group.
You have already said yes and embarked on Thrive Unleashed, which is the new 6-month group. Tell us what you are most excited about in terms of that journey and that next step, and what you're excited about bringing forward.
I think just continuing what we started, but really, like I said, everything has multiple layers. And so I feel like I've gotten these ideas, but now I would really like to really get them to be more a part of my life versus thinking like, okay, I need to remember my power statement because that's what's going to help me love myself or whatever. That just becomes part of who I am and part of what I do.
But one thing I've realized over this journey is what I might think I'm working on is not what ends up happening. And I'm more open to that now. I'm excited to continue to work with the other women in the group who I've formed some really strong bonds with. And I feel like I'm very close to identifying more of a purpose in my life. And I'm exploring things to try to hone in on that. And I'm excited to have another conversation with you in 6 months, right? Let's check in with Kim and see where she is.
Yes.
What will have happened?
Putting it on the calendar now. Yes. I love it. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. What would you want somebody that was maybe just on the cusp of thinking of, hey, maybe there's a journey for me to explore? What would you want them to know?
I would tell them to explore And the best way to do that is to just think of a tiny step that can move you in the direction of whatever it is you want to explore, right? I mean, it could be reaching out to you for a discovery call. I think that we let things be overwhelming, and just being able to say, this is something I want to learn more about. I don't have any expectations, and just identifying a tiny little step to move you in that direction.
I think that it's just really important to have a coach or somebody there to support you and guide you, because I love self-help. I love the growth. I love the development. I love it all. You can read so many books, you can watch so many videos, but when we're in a one-on-one session or when we're in a group, we do breakout groups, and it allows me to really have a place to talk it through individually. So I have somebody who's a great sounding board, because I appreciate you very much. And you are a great sounding board. And so, I would recommend finding somebody, whether it's Elena or somebody else that maybe is a better or a different fit. But I really feel like the individuality, there we go, is really important and has been really key for me this year, especially.
I think I'm most excited for what's next. Again, we had talked in one of our sessions about the path and the journey, and how way back in the beginning, I was at the very beginning, and now I've done this truest self and core values work. So I'm kind of here, and I know where I want to be is here. So this kind of Thrive Unleashed now is this part, and it's unknown. And I'm excited about that, because this part has been so awesome that this part has to be even more awesome.